Let's talk about the weather. Wait, what? You thought this video was about something else? My bad. Sure you don't want to? Yeah, I know. Get on with the video already. Whoops. Wrong intro. You may have heard me talk about the amazing physics engine in Breath of the Wild, especially the weather, which I talked about in episode 1. You can click on it in the description box below, but you didn't click on this video to hear me talk about the weather or my other videos. You clicked to hear me talk about the future for the runes in Breath of the Wild, didn't you? For those who haven't played the game, your iOS Sheikah Slate tablet gets these upgrades called rune apps, and it's impossible to beat the game without them unless you're an insane speedrunner who knows how to glitch the game so bad it would make any casual cry like a baby because they can't even climb down the Great Plateau Tower without dying on the way down. No, seriously, that happened to me twice. You have your magnesis, bombs, stasis, cryonis, and camera. Now, unless Breath of the Wild 2 is a direct sequel, I don't think we'll see our sweet Sheikah Slate tablet. It's a repeated cycle in the series. Wind Waker, boom! There goes the semi-realistic art style of Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the Ocarina of Time, and horseback riding. Twilight Princess, boom! There goes the cartoony art style of Wind Waker, Rito sneaking around corners, and the sailing. Skyward Sword, boom! There goes the art style again, the horseback riding again, and the open world. Keep in mind though that this isn't that bad because none of these cool apps are exclusive to the Sheikah Slate and have actually been seen many times in the franchise. For starters, you have the choice of Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. I just realized I was talking about the wrong game. The bombs. If you've seen a single Zelda game without bombs, keep in mind that wasn't a Zelda game you were playing. Bombs, thank goodness, have been in every single game in the franchise, and so is Link. In fact, you could almost say they're married. Weird moments give me a headache. So that's the good news. The bad news is that since the Zelda team is still trying to break the conventions of Zelda, even as we speak, it is possible that the bombs could be removed from the next game. Not likely, but still possible. The camera has been around since Link's Awakening DX, sorta, and has reappeared in Majora's Mask and Wind Waker in all their remakes and ports. The cryonis hasn't really been a thing until Breath of the Wild, but other things that follow the same concept have, such as the Majora's Mask exclusive of freezing water with ice heroes, and the Triforce Heroes Water Rod, which creates water pillars, which is almost exactly the same thing as the cryonis. As for the stasis, okay, I lied. The stasis has never been seen before in a Zelda game to my knowledge. Unless you count slowing time in Majora's Mask, but the NPCs don't really stop and the enemies don't slow down at all. So this would be a weak argument to say the least. If you gotten this far in the video, you've probably figured it out by now that the Sheikah Slate doesn't have much of a future. But the runes sure do, if we can even call them that in the next game. Most will agree that the runes weren't anywhere near reaching their potential in Breath of the Wild, and that there are many improvements that Nintendo could make. For one, there were no Dodongos to swallow bombs. Instead, they had Octoroks, which aren't nearly as fun to blow up, but are more satisfying to blow up. Another thing is lack of cave exploration, which could have made bombs even more useful. Oh, and by the way, did I mention we were talking about the bombs first? I think it very unlikely that we'll get an unlimited supply of bombs like we did in Breath of the Wild, but this isn't a foreign concept to most of you. Also in Breath of the Wild, we never saw any of the big powder kegs that we've only seen in Majora's Mask. Adding these in the next game would open much more exploration and make sabotaging enemy camps a blast. We almost got something close to that, but these were few and far between, and didn't get the job done any better than your regular bombs. So there you go. The bombs are sure to stay, but this guy is likely to come back so we can be tied up by pirates again. The magnesis is another story. This is one thing I don't think we're likely to see return unless the Sheikah Slate or some form of it returns. Magnesis is primarily an exploration tool and a fun gimmick used to move metal boxes, weapons, doors, rocks, etc. While the magnesis was only mandatory for shrines, divine beasts, and Korok seeds, it wasn't really a needed addition. Sure, playing with magnesis is fun and all, but it doesn't really serve any real purpose other than to solve puzzles and to drop a metal box 50 feet in the air onto a moblin's head. While I can't guarantee it will return as an item or rune, I can guarantee that the properties and aesthetics of it will return as a puzzle element some way or another. The camera is a bit of a puzzle. The camera has been seen off and on in the series. Sometimes you'll see it, sometimes you won't. In the case of Breath of the Wild though, this was one rune that was perhaps more important than the others for the sole purpose of it being the key to helping Link regain his memories. You can also use it to help you track rare items, animals, and weapons, which can be helpful, but only if you're smart enough to take pictures of every random thing you see. Otherwise, this rune is a useless piece of crap if you didn't take any pictures of the thing you need to track. Whether or not we'll see the camera in the sequel is definitely a mystery. So I can't confirm whether or not we will, just that the camera will eventually make its way back into the series. Cryonis is one thing I'm sure is going to return, whether it is by the water rod, ice rod, or some kind of rod. One huge sin of Breath of the Wild was the fact that every area in the game could be accessed anyway except for choice shrines. This means no poisonous water, no hidden caves, no unclimbable cliffsides, and no bombless pits. While lack of bombless pits is somewhat enjoyable, it offers no benefit than to add empty neglected areas like this that are a waste of time to explore. I mean, seriously, why would you add an area like this to only make it as pointless as white space? Cryonis is one of the many missed opportunities in Breath of the Wild that could have helped in further exploration, if it wasn't for the fact that the game doesn't provide exclusive areas encouraging you to use it more. This aspect in the game was by far one of my favorites, and I probably overused it as you can see here. But yeah, I think there's a good possibility that Cryonis will make a return in the sequel, or otherwise the next installment in the series. Now we get to the stasis. Now this one is tricky. When it comes to the stasis, this is just one thing I can't promise anything to you. It's a completely new feature in a Zelda game, and while I think we can all agree that it didn't reach its full potential, I think we can all agree again that as far as it returning is concerned, it's about as likely as the instruments such as the Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Goddess are. All can definitely be used again, but is the Zelda team going to? Now don't think I'm finished here because there's still one more rune. That's right, you guessed it, the Master Cycle 0. Nintendo could have given us many things in the DLC The Champions Ballad, including possibly a new story that takes place after the Calamity is gone? Just a suggestion, Nintendo. Just a suggestion. However, the developers decided to kick back and give us something nobody expected. No, I'm not talking about the extra memories and cutscenes cringe. I'm talking about this guy! Wait a minute, he was already there. Ah, there we are. A most suitable replacement for our horse. You can get to Hyrule Castle on this thing in as little as 60 seconds, and driving off a cliff? No problem. Will it return? Likely not. Do I want it to return? You bet I do. But what I want and what Nintendo gives me are never the same thing. Just like I would have rather had that wolf motif than the horse one. Like my pinned comment if you agree. Or will it return? Is it possible that the Master Cycle 0 could be a reference to possibly the series going for a full-out modern and technological feeling? Is all this Sheikah technology a reference to that? Would Nintendo even Did you like this video? Did you not? Please feel free to spam my notifications with this little thumbs up right here. Whoa, wait a minute. Who messed that up there? Comment all your concerns and opinions in the comments below, and be sure to check out my friend Croton and his channel for more Zelda related content. Coming up next week is Sonic Forces on CTS. What will I be talking about? You'll just have to see. Just whatever you do, and when you're riding on that ancient motorbike, just remember, he knows.